Uh, I was in standard 6C when my class teacher, Mrs. Boardwell, turned to me and said, "Come here, boy." So I went close and said, "Yes, teacher." "Can you go to Mr. Ui's class and find out when is the next history exam?" See, the minute Mrs. Boardwell said Mr. Ui's name, I began to tremble. Not because he was my history teacher, but Mr. Ui was also a strict discipline master in my school, who always walked around with a cane. And if you have got caning from a discipline master, you know what I'm talking about, because I have got it before. So I had no choice but to go around looking for Mr. Ui, who was teaching in 6A. So I knocked on the door slowly, didn't want to cause too much noise. Then he didn't hear me, so this time a little louder, and he heard me. And with his usual booming voice, he said, "Come in." And I was standing outside the door. Do it now. Got to get it done anyway. So then I took some very slow steps into the classroom, and I could sense the kids were like probably giggling at me. Then I saw Mr. Ui's dark, black, shiny shoes, and I raised my glance, and his dark, well-pressed black pants, then his long sleeve white shirt, and then I could see the tall, bald-headed man glaring down at me with his arms akimbo. "Yes? What do you want?" Now I was trying my best to control my jitters, trying my best to say something that was something that can be understood. The harder I tried, the more difficult it became. I said, "Sir, I want to find the test, the history, the date, the history date exam teacher." My teacher asked, "Give up." And by this time, the standard 6A kids were already giggling out loud. That made it even worse. And there I was standing literally frozen. Mr. Ui just stared down at me and said, "What are you talking about, you mumbling idiot?" That was the worst. I was thinking, my God, I'm a mumbling idiot. Why doesn't the earth just open, swallow me, and kill me? Because it's not worth living anymore, because I was a mumbling idiot. Mumbling idiot. And then the worst thing Mr. Ui did was turn to the girl whom I hated most in my school, called Vimala, and say, "Vimala, come here." And she's a head prefect, and she thinks she's a hell of a pretty girl. She was quite pretty, but not that pretty anyway. And he said, "Vimala, come and take this babbling monkey with you." Just was a mumbling idiot, now I'm a babbling monkey. "And find out, who's your teacher?" he asked me. I said, "Well, Mrs. Boardwell." So I managed to blurt that out. "Take her with you." See, for Mr. Ui, it was just another day of scolding somebody like me who was a mumbling idiot anyway. But for me, it was not a normal day. It was a day that changed my life forever, because, you see, I begin to believe that Mr. Ui's words were true, that I am a mumbling idiot. And you know what? I then actually became a mumbling idiot, because I will never dare to put my hands up in class. I will never to try to say something, because what if I mumble something? It really put me and made me become more shy. And I didn't want to try new things. I wouldn't volunteer for anything. Until in Form 6, I got bullied by two girls. Two girls bullied me, not two boys. And if that was not bad enough, and I went to college, I never raised my hands in class as well. Until one lecturer noted, and he said, "How come you never raise your hands in class? I never used to answer anything." I said, "Well, sir, I'm the shy one, sir." "Why are you shy?" he asked me. I said, well, I was born this way, sir. He said, don't be stupid. There's nobody born this way. It's in your own hands. I said, don't know, sir. Then he took a book and gave it to me. Read this book. It was called See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. I took that book, which is, of course, by a great author. I turned to the first page. You said, this is the end. I thought, what a funny book is this? Funny author. Then to the next page and said, of the old you. And further down, he said, are you shy? Yeah. Do you fear talking to people? Of course. Do you reluctantly keep away from people? I said, yeah, I didn't want to. And a lot of things which were definitely describing me. And I said, how can this man know so much about me? He said, he was talking to me. And then the book said, stand in front of the mirror and see yourself in the eyes and say, I'm a champion. I didn't feel like a champion, but anyway, I tried it. But it seemed to have some effect on me. But more importantly, the book said, do the thing that you fear and your fear will disappear. So I thought, could this be true? So I applied it. Remember, I never raised my hands in class? Now, I told to myself, these three words that came out of that: action cures fear. Action cures fear. So I decided to raise my hands in class, which I never used to do. Not so fast, but probably, can I, sir? And you know what? I was beginning to answer questions. I was becoming slowly out of my shell. And one more thing that the book said was, learn to speak in public. Learn to communicate well. So I joined what is called the Toastmasters Club. And then in the Toastmasters Club, after 7 years of being a member, I took part in a competition at Shangri-La Penang. It's a hotel. And at the hotel competition, there were 8 people taking part, only one winner. And guess who was the winner? And when I walked onto the stage to collect my trophy, you know who gave me the trophy? Chief Minister of Penang, Tan Sri Kosukun. He gave me the trophy. And he said, you know why you won? I said, I don't know, Tan Sri. He says, because you spoke with emotions. Keep it up. At that moment, something went through my mind, which is, Mr. Uy, you're wrong. I'm not a mumbling idiot anymore. Since that day, ladies and gentlemen, fast forward a few years, I started becoming a speaker, a trainer. And I stand in front of you having gone to 9 countries, trained 80,000 people face to face, large crowds of 1,500 people. These are my audiences. This is what I have achieved just because of these 3 words which have become internalized, which have etched into my mind, which is action cures fear. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this time I want to ask you, what is it that is holding you back from doing that you want to do? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to climb a mountain. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to become an international speaker. But you think, oh, I can't. I don't have the education. I don't have the looks. I don't have the smartness. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. No. If only you remind yourself these 3 words, action cures fear, and you take these first few steps forward. Never mind, you can fall down sometimes, but you get up and you go. You will be surprised at what you can achieve in your life. Thank you.